All right, guys. Thank you again for joining me for another episode of Limitless MD. I have part 2 of my physician's guide to mastery. You guys are going to really love it. We're going to go into mindset, productivity, and time management. And, you know, we're going to really discuss a lot of things such as fast goals versus smart goals. We'll really get into, how to track your progress and really master your 90-day sprint. Okay. So pay attention, stay tuned, and really enjoy the episode. What if you could reclaim hours of free time each week, create legacy building wealth, and devote more energy to your passion projects without giving up on your career as a life-saving MD? My name is Vikram Raya, functional cardiologist, high performance coach, and real estate expert. And I'm here to give you the tools, strategies, and solutions you need to transform your life so you can unlock your limitless potential and achieve greatness, all the while freeing up your precious time. Welcome to Limitless MD. Let's dive in. So, how do I set my goals, Vic? Like, you told me I have to set these sort of these 90-day goals. How do I do that? Has anyone ever heard of SMART goals? So SMART stands for SMART is a specific, measurable. What was that? Wait, specific, measurable. I already forgot what it is because I'm going to use the new one here. It's specific, measurable, achievable. What is it? Specific, measurable, realistic, time bound. Okay, there we go. Right. So those are SMART goals. And that's what was the gold standard for years and years and years. MIT, Sloan School of Business, in the last 5 years has come up with something even better. Right. It's realistic. Right. They came up with something even better, guys. They call it FAST goals. And they said the SMART goals, the problem with the SMART goals was it was undervalued ambition. Right. You had to be achievable, right? So you guys know this famous, like, okay, it's like, okay, I want to be an NBA player, but I'm 5'7". Can I get into the NBA? No. Well, according to the SMART goals, no. Right. But there are people like Muggsy Bogues, the shortest person ever to be a professional NBA player and succeed in the NBA. And I think he was like 5'5" or something like that. So there are times where if you make it where it's achievable or something like reasonable, it actually holds you back from your fullest creativity and fullest potential. So let me introduce you to what MIT is now using, and they've used in their business school, and this is what most companies are starting to move toward. It's called FAST goals, right? And it stands for frequently discussed, ambitious, specific, and transparent. So the reason why SMART goals also don't work, again, they undervalue ambition. They also focus more on individual performance. And as we know, if you really want to achieve your dreams, you really need a team, you need leverage, you need growth, right? You don't want to just have your goals and it's the end of the year kind of thing. This has to be frequently assessed. And so FAST goals, they're frequently discussed, they're ambitious, they're specific, and they're transparent. What does that mean? Well, if it's frequently discussed, you're talking about all the time, you're allocating resources, you're prioritizing initiatives, you're getting feedback, and it's more of a team approach, right? You're discussing it among your team. It's ambitious. That means it should be difficult, but not impossible to achieve. So I don't know. What does that look like? I don't know. Maybe 20 to 30% beyond what you're normally capable of. That could be an ambitious, very ambitious goal. It's specific. It's translated to concrete metrics and milestones that force clarity on how to achieve each goal, and you measure your progress, right? And this is very important because sometimes your goal is monumental. You're like, oh my God, I have no freaking clue how I'm going to achieve that huge goal. But you're taking measurable action every time. You're checking, you're breaking it down, right? They say, how do you eat a whale? You eat it one bite at a time. So similarly, if you're trying to land someone on the moon, Elon Musk is not like, all right, it's either land on the moon or bust. No, he's like, all right, we need to first get to lunar surface. Then we need to do long range orbit. And now we're going to eventually send, drones there. And then we're going to drop, some of the supplies to Mars. And then eventually we'll send unmanned and then manned. And, so there's all these milestones. And then finally, transparent goals and current performance should be made public for all employees to see. So you're getting accountability, you're getting feedback, you're getting peer pressure, and it's open and transparent. Okay, so that's a FAST goal. So there's a lot of, lot of the companies, that, my Viking, Limitless, we use a fast rock planner, and we use this. And I've given this to many of my coaching clients on how to create a rock. A rock is sort of a 90-day goal, and using this framework to create this. So describe your 90-day goal, figure out why it's important, create 4 to 5 mini goals or milestones. And then here's a very interesting thing. If you know what a postmortem is, a postmortem is essentially you diagnose, you sort of deconstruct what happened. So like, let's say you throw an event, things went right, things went wrong. You huddle with your team after the event and say, hey man, we should, the DJ was amazing, the food sucked, or whatever, right? Or you're trying to launch a product for your company. Like let's say you have a wellness clinic and you're launching a new, detox, and, and after that, the whole thing, you deconstruct with your team, what happened. So that's called a postmortem. What I'm suggesting you do is do a pre-mortem. Imagine you're going toward the goal and it doesn't get accomplished before you even start the goal. What are the things that are going to stand in my way to prevent it from being accomplished? Think about all those things, and then think about all the people, the resources, the actions I need to take to hit that goal. And if you have all that listed, you're not going to be surprised, and you're likely to hit these goals. And the second thing is, again, you can see in the middle of this chart, this PDF chart here, all the mini milestones and the dates you have to complete them by. So it's almost like bulletproofing your likelihood of achieving these goals. Okay. And here's an example of a real life person, right? They have, and I suggest if you're going through these sprints in life, you have your normal life pretty laid out, right? You have your kids, you have your workouts, you have your business, or your medical practice, you have your friends and your family, right? On top of that, how can you take on any more? So you can probably take on about 3 sort of projects. This person had a side hustle, they had some kind of business thing, and they had some health thing. And so they created sort of the mini milestones or the process goals for that main goal. And then they have a chart and they're tracking, right? So that's one thing you can do. The other thing is, really, keep track of those metrics. And then if you're off track, you want to do something called IDS, which is called identify, diagnose, and solve. Once you find something off track, you want to figure out what's going on. Is it procrastination? Is it I'm not scheduling time? Is it I don't feel like doing it? Is it I need accountability? Is it I don't know how to do it? Maybe I need to break it down. It's too big for me for a 9 or 12-week goal. Maybe I need to just cut that in half. Whatever that is, you need to just problem solve and troubleshoot. So I want to introduce you to the concept of taking something from being impossible to inevitable. How does that happen? Well, the 2 things we've learned from this, there's something called the miracle equation that was popularized by a person named Hal Elrod. And he talks about to really accomplish any sort of modern day miracles is you need 2 things. You need unwavering faith and extraordinary effort. If you're listening to this, all these people who are listening, plus all the people who are listening to the replay, all these hundreds of doctors, you guys are smart, intelligent, hungry, and you're philosophically aligned for greatness. Something holds you back. And I would suggest, and I would offer it's potentially faith. Now, faith, not in the true religious sense that you just believe and you don't do anything. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a different kind of faith. It's essentially you believing it is truly possible to accomplish this goal, whatever that goal is. I want to raise capital for a deal. I want to, run a biohacking clinic. I want to, I want to do locums and create enough money to where I can do my side hustles on the side, whatever that is, right? You have to believe it is possible. Number 2, knowing that you can do it, you have to be committed to it. And it's not a short-term commitment. This is a long-term commitment. Any of your goals, if you just stayed at it long enough, likely they'd be accomplished. The only problem we have is we're impatient, right? Instead of thinking, hey, this is going to be a 5 or 10 year commitment, we're thinking, man, how come I haven't achieved my, $5 million in the net worth in 90 days? What's going on here? Perhaps you didn't give it enough time for these things to mature, right? And so this long haul mentality is super important. And then role modeling. If you have all these things, you take consistent action, the faith manifests. The faith is present, right? So, and the people, the mediocre doctors out there, this is what they do. They want the same things you guys do, right? But this is how much time they devote to their one thing to get their dream life, and everything else takes precedence. What I encourage you to do is be like the 1%, not the mediocre doctors, but the limitless doctors. The limitless doctors, this is what they do. Everything else, the most important things are factored in. They've squeezed out the non-essentials, and their one thing essentially takes up half their day. That's how they can create monumental results in a short amount of time. This is how they time collapse and create exponential returns. And so, are you willing to squeeze out the non-essentials in your life and make room for what's truly important, the mighty few versus the trivial many, and really blow it out of the water this year? And this is visually what it looks like to do so. This is not easy to do. Trust me, I've done it. It's painful. I have to make some tough decisions. I have to miss out on things. But the time I've had to do that, to miss out, now I can take advantage of all of it because I've created the life I want, right? But there was a sacrificial period to do so. And many of you think, man, that I have to do something, monumental. Like I have to, wake up, at 3 a.m. and do all this work, and then give up all weekends, all nights, and just go crazy and just power through it for a decade or more. That's not really what we're saying. If you can be more, it's instead of macro actions that are taken inconsistently, I'm asking you to refocus your energies and do 1% improvement daily, right? So what does that look like? So, we've done the math here. 1% better every day for 365 days. If you did that, you'd be 38 times better, 38x improvement of that thing you're trying to improve. And if you're 1% worse every day, it really doesn't take you down that much. So you can see how it really benefits you to commit to micro actions, get the feedback, make sure you're on track, make sure you're getting the results you want, and consistently do that. And instead of going after 12 projects, consider 1, 2, at most 3 projects at a time. And that's going to get you further, faster, better. Okay? Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Limitless MD. If you found value from this episode, I encourage you to share this episode with a friend and let me know by leaving a review. For more information, make sure you check out the links in the show notes below or simply visit vikramraya.com. So until next time, my friends, be phenomenal.